Good afternoon, Ethan. Here's your machine. This is the Breville Barista Express BES870 in cranberry red. This video is specifically for you using your unit that you'll be picking up later today. I'm going to be making a latte on it, so pretty much testing all the functions of the machine, grinding, brewing and steaming, and hopefully giving you a few tips and tricks on how to use this model and giving you that peace of mind. You know, the machine has no issues. So the machine has just finished its service, so I've done a full clean, checked everything, absolutely no issues. I've also recalibrated the grinder so we can hopefully get a good coffee out of it in this video without too much trouble. And yeah, the machine is immaculate. It's actually, I would give it an 8 out of 10 condition. It's very, very clean. Obviously it's a used unit, but it's got very little wear and tear. And yeah, it's the same on the inside, spotless. Yeah, so when you first turn on the machine, it would probably take about a minute to reach temperature and sort of be ready to make a shot. But I would recommend doing something else, and that's to warm up the machine. You can either warm up the machine by running a blank shot or waiting 10 or 20 minutes. So that's good. Waiting 10 or 20 minutes will allow the machine to warm up on the inside, on the internals, the piping, the valves, the portafilter and group head, and even the top tray. So you can pull your cups over here, like 4 cups, maybe 3-4 cups, and they'll get nice and hot. But if you're in a hurry, you can just run a blank shot. So a blank shot is no coffee in the handle, empty cup, and just run hot water through the machine to warm things up. So you can use single or double. Yeah, so that's about it. You can do this once or twice. Probably twice would be better. But that's going to bring things up to temperature. The machine has been on for a while, so I'm just going to stick with the 1 shot, blank shot. So should be more than enough. This is the double basket that I'm using. So this is the single wall double basket. It takes 18 grams of ground coffee, which is standard for, I guess, double shots. It's a double shot, but it's used to make 1 drink. So you know, standard drink is probably 35 to 40 grams of coffee, espresso that is. So you can split the shot into 2 because the spout, the portafilter has a spout with 2 spouts. So yeah, you can make 2 weak coffees with it, or just 1 strong coffee. I personally have the 1 double shot every morning, so that's just what I'm used to. Your machine also comes with the other types of baskets, so the dual wall baskets and also the single shot, single wall basket. So the dual wall baskets are for pre-ground coffee, so if you buy the coffee by accident pre-ground, or if you buy decaf coffee as ground coffee from the shops, you can use the dual wall baskets. Your machine also comes with a milk jug, cleaning tools and razor tool. And a tamper, of course, that sits right here. So I'm going to be using a scale to measure my input and my output. You don't really have to, but I recommend it for consistency and also for, yeah, just for consistency and I guess for the sake of the video, to show you what 35 grams of coffee looks like and to show you what 18 grams of ground coffee looks like. So yeah, dry the portafilter. Very important to dry it before the actual grinding. Otherwise the coffee grounds will stick to the sides and that's not good. At the moment it's on grind size number 5. I think it's in the right range for espresso, but the only way to know for sure is to make a coffee. So if the coffee runs too quickly or too slowly, we'll adjust it accordingly. Obviously, if it's too quickly, that's because the grind size is too large. If it's slow, that's because the grind size is too fine. And I'm going to assume that my beans are fresh, and I'm going to assume that my dose is correct. So we'll confirm that actually by measuring it. Keep this at 12 o'clock. So keeping the grind amount dial at 12 o'clock. Grinding once, checking. That's 8 grams. So we'll push it to 1 o'clock. Hopefully it'll give us 9 grams. So 9 grams times 2 is 18. If you wanted to top it up, so you can just hold. And that's gonna, you know, grind for as long as you hold it. That's 9, That's not grams. There we go. So after your first dose, I recommend tamping it. And now you can grind again. You can put it on double, but personally I like to put it on single and do it twice. That way I can reduce the mess and the spillage. Okay. Let's see, so that's my second dose. If we're lucky, we'll be getting 9 grams. And we got exactly 9 grams, so no kidding. That's 18 grams total now. So, perfect. It doesn't have to be, like I said, you don't have to use a scale. It doesn't have to be to the number, to the dot exactly. But just for consistency, I like to get as close as I can. Over time, you will get used to sort of eyeballing and doing things manually. So you'd be able to look at the coffee amount and be like, yep, that's the correct amount of coffee. A tip I like to give people is, once you grind your coffee, you grab your temper, you temper it nice and firm. You will notice that when you have the correct amount of coffee, the silver part on the temper will disappear. So in this case, maybe it's a bit too high. So maybe that's because my beans are very fluffy. But yeah, an 17.5 to 18 gram dose will probably compact down to about this much, or just as deep as the silver part on the temper. Hopefully you can see that. That's about how deep the temper goes with 18 grams in. I wouldn't recommend going over 18. That's because your portafilter won't lock in, and that's just going to increase the pressure too much and lead to things like channeling. So you want to clean the edges and the flaps and lock it in. So I'm going to lock it into 6 o'clock position, so dead center. Being a relatively new machine, the group head seal is still relatively fresh, so you don't have to push it all the way to the right. As your machine ages, maybe you'll have to push it a bit more to the right to this 5 o'clock position, but at the moment this is more than tight enough. So yeah, the input was 18. We want to double the input. So for a good coffee, on average, the ratio is 2 to 1. So for every gram of ground coffee that we have, we want to have 2 grams of liquid espresso. So liquid coffee. So I'm gonna reset my scale. I have reset the buttons for you, and I've set the double to give you around 80 grams of water. So hopefully we'll be getting around 40 to 50 grams of liquid coffee. I'm not exactly sure. We'll have to see, because it all depends on the pressure. But hopefully, I don't want to make this too complicated. You can reset the buttons at any time by holding the program, and you can probably use this or this for one of your coffees. So this from factory gives you 100 grams. This gives you 60 grams, and that's grams of water, not of coffee. So with coffee, it's a bit less. So maybe we'll make a coffee now. Pay attention to 2 things. So the timing, maybe grab a stopwatch for when you're learning how to make coffee. Grab a stopwatch and measure the coffee from the bottom press to the end point, and also keep an eye on the pressure. So hopefully we should be getting the double shot in 20 to 30 seconds. So that's 35 to 40 grams in 20 to 30 seconds. That's probably going to be up to here on my glass, but if you're not sure, grab a scale and confirm. And pressure gauge, we want to aim for about 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. That's the optimal range, I feel. If the coffee's too quick, I'll be able to tell you. If it's too slow, I'll be able to tell you. It looks like it's too quick, so unfortunately I'm gonna have to discard that. You don't have to. You can maybe make it a long black or iced coffee, but for the sake of the video, I'll have to discard it. So that's exactly 36 grams of water. I'm not kidding you. So 36 grams, or 36.1, and that's exactly double of 18. So the numbers are there, but it was too quick. So what was that? 15 seconds, 10-15 seconds for the entire shot. A bit too quick. I mean, I'll discard this. I'll make another coffee at grind size 3. So with changing the grind size, you want to change it only when the grinder is grinding. So I'll start it off, move the dial to number 3. So that's 2 numbers finer, you know, 1 being the finest, and then I'll try it. You only want to change the grind size as it's grinding because you don't want to damage the mechanism of the blades. Plus, it's recommended to purge the old grind size. So now, after I've changed the grind size, you saw me discard about 2 seconds worth. So 2 seconds of grinding, I'm going to discard that because it's going to be a mixture of grind size number 5 and number 3. I'll pause the video and I'll get back. Alright, back at it. 17.7 grams. So pretty much 18 grams of coffee in the portafilter, grind size number 3. I've upped the dose to 2 o'clock on the grinder mount, and that gave me about 8.8, 8.9 grams. So it's not going to be always consistent and giving you exactly the same sort of grammage, but it's close enough. And like I said, you can eyeball it as you get used to the machine. You can probably get used to the dosing without using a scale. Again, confirming the depth the tamper goes to, so I'm tamping very firmly and evenly, making sure it's flat, it's not wonky or whatever. It's about as deep as the silver part on the tamper. This is what it looks like. It's nice and clean, smooth surface, and flat. Clean the edge, lock it in. And hopefully we'll be getting a slower coffee now, so we'll aim for, like I said, probably 11 to 1 o'clock pressure if we did things right, and getting the double dose in 20 to 30 seconds. Using the same settings, I'm going to press the button now. That's better. So that's 17 seconds. Pressure was about 11 o'clock. We've got 35 grams now. So I think I would drink this coffee. It's still a touch too quick, so I would make it one grind size finer. So let's say grind size number 2. I'll let you do the rest because it'll depend on your bean. But this is a drinkable shot. So yeah, we got 35 grams. It was a bit too quick, but yeah, we have some crema. We had a good pressure, and yeah, just add sugar or hazelnut, and you can have it. Or now we'll turn it into a latte. So obviously with milk. It's recommended to use full cream milk. So, sorry, cold milk. In this case, I'm using full cream milk. Cold milk's texture is better because you have more time to stretch it and, you know, aerate the milk rather than warm or room temperature milk. You can probably do the cleaning at this stage. I'll do it really quickly. It's very easy on these machines with the single wall baskets. Just grab your knock box, knock it off, it just falls through, give it a rinse. So again, a blank shot now, but this time obviously to clean. There we go. That's going to clean your group head and your basket and portafilter. So it's very efficient. I like to do it after every coffee. Make sure you grab a tissue occasionally and wipe the shower screen and group seal. It's good to keep it nice and fresh to prolong the life of the seal, and obviously to keep your coffees clean. Lock it in. You don't have to lock it in all the way since there's no coffee being made, so just very relaxed fit. And now we'll turn on the steamer. It'll take about 10 to 15 seconds to start outputting steam. Being a single boiler, obviously it has to heat up the boiler to that temperature. So So I've filled my jug with, so this is my jug, I'm not using yours to keep yours clean. But you want to fill it about halfway with milk. Once it reaches temperature, turn it off. Put the wand in position, so close to the surface and at the edge of the jug. Keep spinning the milk. You want to hear that paper tearing sound, you know, like tearing a piece of paper. It's a hiss, which is what you're hearing now. And that's indicating that I'm aerating the milk. It's telling me that I'm putting bubbles into the milk, giving it that smooth, creamy texture. Do this for maybe 10 or 20 seconds, and then once the 20 seconds end, you want to raise the jug to stop aerating the milk. You don't want to aerate it for too long, otherwise it'll be too thick, too bubbly. So now I'm going to raise the jug, and now it's just spinning and heating up the milk. So once it's too hot to the touch, I'm going to turn it off. Yeah, so that's about 60 degrees now. Very important. Take it out slowly, give it a purge. This is very important. The purge is to clean the insides of the wand and make sure that you don't have any milk buildup. You also want to wipe it. So grab a wet towel, and the machine will now cool down. So it's going back to espresso temperature. And once the lights go off, it's ready to make another espresso. You can even hear the water cooling down the boiler now. And you can see the steam coming. So yeah, it's fairly smart. It knows what to do. It's fairly convenient. Very convenient. Yeah, so wipe the wand. Make sure to wipe it as soon as you can, otherwise it'll be really hard to remove later down the track. Don't neglect the sides, the bottom, sometimes even up here. You can get milk buildup. So yeah, keep your machine nice and clean. It'll be happy. Yeah, so now it's ready to make another coffee, or you can turn it off. Grab your milk. To prepare the milk for the pouring, you want to break any air bubbles. So knock the jug down on the countertop, just to break any big bubbles, and swirl it around. Do this 1, 2, 3 times until the surface is nice and smooth on top, almost like wet paint. There we go. And pour. I think we got a design, I'm not too sure. I'm not very proficient with, I'm not very skilled with pouring milk in latte art. But yeah, every now and then I get the occasional nice looking design. I was going for a heart here, but it didn't work out properly. But anyway, it looks fantastic. I'm sure you can do even better coffees than me. You know, we have good colors, good crema, and it looks like a delicious coffee. Yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate. I'm sure you're excited. And I'll see you later today. Cheers.